This will be a quick explanation of the Good Counsel Network. We start out with two internet service providers. The two lines we have are DataStream, which is a fiber line which allows for 200 megabytes per second upload and 200 megabytes per second download. The second line we have is Comcast, and this is just used for a failover in case we use all of our data in the data stream, which we tend to do every single day because there are so many devices on the network. Once our lines come into the building, they go straight to the IT office. Once they're in the IT office, each line goes to its own router. From the router, the lines go to the firewall. The firewall is a piece of hardware that allows us to put content filtering into place. It kind of keeps hackers out, people that we don't want. We keep them out of our network, but we also are able to limit what you guys are able to get to. For instance, some of the social media. We don't want you guys to be able to get to those websites. So it's kind of like a two-way blocking. After the firewall, the data goes to the core switch. The switch basically has one input and many, many outputs, which allow you to stream to all of the other standard switches we have in the building. And we have many more than the 4 that are listed here. Once data gets to these switches, the data can then go to many different places. So maybe one of the switches has Ethernet cables that will run to the servers. We were told that we've got 4 file servers and 1 print server here in the building. Maybe one of the switches has Ethernet running to the access points. Remember we talked about how there's an access point in each classroom. These access points are what give you the Wi-Fi, so you're able to use your iPads in class. Maybe one of the switches is actually hardwired so you have the Ethernet coming out of the wall going to the computers, kind of like in the labs. So basically, these switches will have one Ethernet coming in and they will have many, 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 many going out to many locations all over the building. So I'm just going to elaborate on one classroom. Okay, so here are our switches that are located in the ceilings all around the building. We've got one where the servers are going to. But let's say we have a classroom where you're going to want to have some computers in there that are not wireless. So what we're going to need to do is we're going to need to run an Ethernet cable from one of the switches all the way to the classroom. And this would be like a little Ethernet hub port right in the side of the classroom. This port allows us to plug in our hardwired computers. Now what about our wireless devices? Each classroom has one of these access points that are also hardwired in the ceiling. So we don't see these wires, but when we look up, we can see these access points sitting in the ceiling of our classrooms. This access point is what emits the wireless signal that allows our wireless devices to connect to the network. If we wanted to add a network printer, we would end up having to run another line. So the Ethernet cable would once again come out of a switch, through the ceilings, and over to a place in the wall where the printer can plug into it. Unless, of course, you have a wireless printer, and in that case, it could use the wireless signal from our access point right here. This, in a nutshell, is the most simplified version of the network at Good Counsel.